Peace and blessings, dear family. Peace and power to you. Of course, that last broadcast didn't come out well. We'll try this again. Now, I am for education, but I'm not for education of a slave. I am not for education that is going to further oppress us. The education that I'm for is for the liberation of all of us as a people. And if we're going to be truly liberated, we have to start with our children. What we have among us today are what I see is, yes, we have PhDs, we have scholars, but a lot of us have inferiority complexes. We don't believe that we can independently govern ourselves. We don't believe that we can produce schools and govern those schools for our people. We don't believe that we can have schools outside of what the mayor, the superintendent of schools, and the governor has built. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that the same people that do the oppressing are going to actually build schools to liberate you? If you don't build your own, you won't be liberated. So a lot of us as adults, we carry what's called an inferiority complex. It has nothing to do with our degrees. It has everything to do with the fact that we don't have knowledge of ourselves. And because we don't have true knowledge of ourselves, then we don't really have knowledge. Because the first knowledge you should get, that's prerequisite. Prerequisite means knowledge of yourself is required before you have knowledge of anything else. The world in which you live. If you're going to truly see this world, you have to understand yourself. If you don't, you'll get in the world and get lost because you don't know who you are. So at a very tender age, the education should be knowledge of yourself first. This is not selfishness. This is self-awareness, and there is a difference. A lot of us move about in the world and we're manipulated because we're not self-aware. And self-awareness is something that should be taught from the actual time we're born to the time that we leave the planet. So I don't use the word woke a lot because woke is a popular expression that people use when they want to talk about current events. My issue is we know the current events, we know what's happening, but we don't know why. So education tells us why things are happening. And when you understand the cause, so in America, what is the problem? Black people do not necessarily believe in themselves. If we believed in ourselves, we would stop asking and we would start building. We would stop trying to believe that we have to ask for permission instead of just go ahead and doing what we need to do. Now, this year was a testimony that there's a need for community schools. Our local schools, because of coronavirus, really couldn't children, but own community that were being educated, cared for, loved on, and taught the knowledge of themselves.